Hello, we're going to talk about sensory receptors, and our objective is to understand and describe different types of sensory receptors. So a sensory receptor is a nerve ending that sends signals to the central nervous system when it is stimulated. Your brain is constantly receiving information from multiple systems and body parts via your sensory receptors, which can be stimulated internally and externally. Actually, the number of sensory receptors varies depending on whether you are classifying the receptors by their stimulus type or by their location. Receptors for each sense. So we have receptors for vision, touch, smell, hearing, and taste. A mechanoreceptor is the first type. And if you've ever been to the doctor and had them do the reflex test by tapping your knee, your leg will involuntarily kick out, and the mechanoreceptor in your knee responds to pressure. So when the rubber hammer is tapped below your knee, it strikes a tendon that stretches an extensor muscle in the front of your thigh. And this activates the stretch receptors in the muscle spindles, where neurons send impulses to the spinal cord, which returns the impulses. Another example of one of the most sensitive mechanoreceptors are found in the inner ear, or cochlea, which is a spiral fluid-filled tube divided lengthwise by the organ of Corti. As the waves of energy move over the little hair cells in the organ of Corti, impulses are transmitted to the brain as pitch and loudness of sound. The organ of Corti is like the body's microphone. A photoreceptor are neurons in the retina of the eye that change visible light from the electromagnetic spectrum into signals that are perceived as images or sight. Rods and cones are two types of photoreceptors located at the back of the eye. Cones allow us to see color. There are red, blue, and green cones. The photoreceptors contain a special chemical called photopigment, which responds to a specific wavelength of light. Rods are activated by light but do not register any colors. This is why in very low light it's difficult to distinguish color, and objects appear in shades of gray. Chemoreceptors play a major role in the senses of taste and smell. All chemoreceptors are stimulated by the presence of chemicals. Your sense of smell relies on olfactory receptors, which detect chemicals in a gaseous state. The little bumps or papillae on your tongue contain taste buds, gustatory sense, and are direct chemoreceptors because they must make direct contact with the food item to taste it. Proreceptors, this helps us sense the relative position of our various body parts and the amount of stress or effort being exerted with your movement. It may not seem like such a big deal that your right hand knows what your left hand is doing, but accomplishing any task safely and successfully relies on proprioception. Nociceptors are sensory nerves that respond to the pain when tissue is damaged in the skin, muscle, joints, bone, or internal organs. These receptors respond to those stimuli that cause discomfort or pain. Temperature extremes, cuts, blows, strong chemicals, infection, and more. Okay, so these respond to stimuli that cause discomfort or pain, temperature extremes, cuts, blows, strong chemicals, infection, and more. Quick summary, each one of our senses has a special sensory receptor. Thanks for watching.